What's up, Demystify Nation? It's Pat back for another week of AI tips for trailblazers. This week, big news. I actually got the AI function working in Google Sheets. I think it's something that's super valuable. Seen some errors that we'll go through, but also some use cases for how you can use it kind of outside of data. I'm sure everybody has Word-based documents and Word-based storage needs that they use Google Sheets for. So I thought we'd demonstrate that, go through a couple examples. So why don't we get started? And here we go. So I went ahead, I've got our usual synthetic marketing data. We've used this for a couple different demonstrations now. We'll take a peek at that really quick, just some kind of cool things you can do, how the AI function works in Google Sheets. It's literally a formula. And then I'll show you kind of how you can compare different text outputs. I just got this working this week. I was really happy. I had to do some settings in our Google Workspace admin console and mess around a bit there. We got this working and found it's great with data. It's great to understand prompt outputs and how to judge different outputs from prompt testing. So with that said, why don't we kick it off? So again, I've got our synthetic data. To use the AI function, you just type in equals AI, in parentheses here, and then here is what it asks us. Let's see if I can expand this. Well, let me expand, but a while. So you're literally you're writing in your prompt, and then you need to select the range that you want it to look at. I'll show you how this works. There is a little quirk to it at the beginning, but why don't we start just with our general data here. I kind of want to figure out, again, it's just basic synthetic marketing data. Why don't we see if it can tell us which device type drives the highest ROAS? Let's see here. So AI, we go, oops, sorry about that. Do parentheses and tell me which device category. I'm being specific to how the columns are labeled. Category has the highest average ROAS. You know what? I better lowercase it because I have ROAS in lowercase. And then we'll put in our whole range here. We'll start with our columns so it can see that. We're only going to go down. I know this is going to seem weird, but here's a tip. You can only do a maximum of 100 rows in just obviously setting up this demo. This is about a 450 row data set, and it would not process it. I kept getting errors saying like, this is too much. You need to lower your range. And so what I kind of found through experimentation is it can really only pick up 100 rows. So if you've got 100 rows worth of data, that's great. I'm sure people will be creative and come up with other stuff, but why don't we see just what the output is? So one thing I learned when you put in your formula, it'll put it with, kind of this blue background with some slashes. At first, I sat here for a little bit and I started doing some other stuff because I thought it was processing. What you have to do is hit our little Gemini number here. It says generate and insert. So we'll hit that and it should come out pretty quick. Calculations are not supported. Please use the Gemini panel. All right, that's interesting because I asked for something else. Why don't we take out the word average and we'll see if this works. So that's right. So there's certain things. You can't do calculations. You have to use Gemini in the side panel for that. You also cannot build charts and graphs from the data. You have to use the Gemini side panel for that as well. So why don't we just say which device category has the highest ROAS, just to see what it spits out. Tablet. It's most likely just finding this very first tablet here and seeing what's there. Why don't we try, can you give me a list of the individual landing page? So it should say pages, but since I called it landing page in the data here, I kind of wanted to keep it consistent. Let's run this. Let's see if it'll give me a list of the individual landing page or landing pages, if you will. So that is correct. So instead of deduplicating data or using the remove duplicates function, you can now just do this with AI. Why don't we try something else? We can't sum anything. Why don't we do the same thing and we'll look at the default channel grouping. Default channel grouping AI, and we'll run it. That is true. That is it. So a decent job of unduplicating text. You can't really ask it too many like analysis type questions, but I think the next demonstration will be more interesting. And I'm not sure how many users out there test prompts in different models. For example, in OpenAI's playground interface, Azure has the Azure AI Foundry where you can do testing. There's multiple different platforms you can test in. Usually the creator or builder of the LLM, meaning OpenAI, Meta, Anthropic, so on and so forth, kind of have their own testing playgrounds. One of the things I've been experimenting with and outside of data is really we have to test a lot of different models for output just to see what's best. Now, I just have a very standard example, a complex logical reasoning example in here. It's very standard. We do this with kind of custom prompts for clients, but just to kind of show you guys how this works, just took, again, standard custom prompts. It's a reasoning prompt, fairly straightforward prompt that a lot of people use for testing. I've already gone ahead and got the outputs from the O3 model. I tested just in ChatGPT just to make this easy. But the O3 model, the O3 Pro output, and the O4 Mini. As you can see, these are slightly different outputs. O3 has the shortest, or has the middle. O3 has the longest. I just by eyeballing this, I can tell O3 really isn't the winner. But I'm more curious to see O3 Pro and O4 Mini. Now, I kind of have to sometimes send this around to clients. And so sitting here typing out the exact differences can get a little tough and wonky. So what I've been doing this week is just using the AI function, and I'll tell it, list, let's see here, list out the exact differences between the text in the range. So really just here's the range. This is much shorter, kind of a three-way range. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. Nice and quick. The main differences between the outputs are O3 output provides a step-by-step breakdown of the reasoning process, including translating statements into symbols, chaining inequalities, collecting information about Taylor, so on and so forth. O3 Pro directly states the chain of inequalities and the conclusion. And then O4 Mini presents the facts and uses inequalities to show that Taylor is only the one. So it really just O3 Pro got cut to the chase is how I kind of read this. If you change it a little bit and say summarize, it'll get a little bit shorter. So sum the differences between the text and the range. So it'll get a little bit shorter, but just another example of how you can kind of use this. So it's just a simple paragraph, provides a solution to a problem about height comparisons. It's really short. So the more granular you get it, the better it can be to compare text. Outside of that, I would say happy prompting. Just a key to remember, it's a maximum of 100 rows. That's the max you can do. Enjoy the AI function in Google Sheets. There's a tremendous amount of functionality around it. Picture putting in, a thought bubble about a product and then creating several taglines for that. That's always a good one too. So hopefully this text, this kind of model texting showing you how to show the differences between prompts is a big help. Try it out with data. If you've got less data sets that are less than 100 rows or less, have fun. And tune in next week. We'll be back with another fresh video, and please hit like and subscribe.